Hi, good afternoon. Live on Kasi TV, and this is Weekly Retro with me, Salina Naikuya. I'll be streaming to you live from our studios, so here in Accra. You can join us on our social media handles on Facebook and YouTube at Kasi TV. Now, coming up in the bulletin, the government is set to reduce the rates of the controversial electronic transfer levy to 1%. From 1.5%. We bring you details of that story as government, through the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, has announced some 13 measures to rationalize public expenditure. And later in business, Ghana's cedi has declined by 53.8% in value against major currencies since the beginning of 2022, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has said. And later on our international front, a 5-story residential building collapsed on Monday in Ruru on the outskirts of the capital, Nairobi, barely a day after its tenants were evacuated. Bring you details of this story in the latest in business, sports, entertainment, and international. Right after this, please do stay. And many thanks for joining us. And the government is set to reduce the rates of the controversial electronic transfer levy to 1% from 1.5%. Well, as part of the review of the E-Levy Act, however, the 100 Ghana cedi daily threshold meant to caution vulnerable people will be removed. Well, this would mean all electronic transfers will face the 1% levy if the act is revived. In the 2023 budget statement, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta said this review was part of the 7-point agenda aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability and accelerating our economic transformation.
Mr. Speaker, we will undertake the following actions, initiatives, and interventions under the 7-point agenda. To aggressively mobilize domestic revenue will, among others, 1, increase VAT rate by 2.5% to directly support our roads and digitalization agenda. Fast-track the implementation of the Unified Property Rate Platform Program in 2023 and review the E-Levy Act and, more specifically, reduce the headline rate from 1.5% to 1% of the transaction value, as well as the removal of the daily threshold.
Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament has described the budget for the 2023 fiscal year as empty. The caucus contends that the measures announced by government as part of effort to generate revenue would only worsen the economic condition of Ghanaians. While presenting the budget in Parliament on Thursday, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, among other things, revealed a freeze on employment of public sector workers and an increase in value-added tax by 2.5%.
Today, Mr. Speaker, we have heard the Honorable Minister for Finance before this August House declare Ghana a high-risk, distressed debt country. So, Mr. Speaker, this budget is a campaign-day budget. And therefore, he's put the country on the path to debt restructuring, which he has announced as debt exchange program. So, Mr. Speaker, this budget is a campaign-day budget. A campaign-day. Because he has announced debt restructuring in the name of a debt exchange program. Mr. Speaker, my greatest expectation of the minister is to regularize his borrowing under the amended Bank of Ghana Act of 2016. You have to come back to this House to seek our mandate and authorization for your excessive borrowing from the Bank of Ghana. That needs to be regularized.
Away from the budget statement, West African leaders met in Accra Tuesday to discuss terrorism and worsening security in the region. The Accra Initiative members, which include Benin, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast and Togo, are discussing preventing spillover of terrorism from the Sahel. European forces have been withdrawing from the region while Russian influence has been growing. Addressing the maiden high-level counter-terrorism conference of the Accra Initiative, Ghana's President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, said it has become imperative for member states to collaborate to encounter rising levels of terrorism.
I say nothing new when I say that West Africa continues to suffer from the effects of the scourge of terrorism and violent extremism, spreading rapidly across the region. Indeed, as recent events continue to render the Sahelian countries of West Africa epicenters of terrorism, we continue to watch in angst how the activities of terrorist and extremist groups have resulted in the unfortunate disregard for the national sovereignty and territorial integrity of our states, the painful deterioration of the strength of our democracies, the wanton displacement of masses of our populations, and the needless loss of considerable numbers of lives. Today, the terrorist groups, emboldened by their apparent success in the region, are seeking new operational grounds, a development that has triggered a southward drift of the menace from the Sahel to coastal West Africa. It was in order to curb the spread of terrorism from the Sahel to coastal states that the Accra Initiative was formed.
And some 256 teachers have sued the Ghana Education Service and Attorney General over their mass failure in the December 2021 promotional examinations. While the teachers who were on the Assistant Director Grade 2 position sat for the Assistant Director Grade 1 promotion examination at the Ada Training College Center. Well, Mr. Inu said even though the applicants petitioned the GES to investigate the issue, they were informed that nothing untoward was found in the circumstances leading to their failure.
By say you move beyond pass. In fact, yet you're not drinking agreement. And you could be something for yourself. Say no matter. And you ain't Cassania marking and script, one will mark it. Now say no matter, you say, and for Subi Uma, Monk my. You say you move the more cry among this number. Now, my staff ID said, it is some more at the end of mine. Oman come with say, the Irish will feel it. It's not to train obvious at Yantiasia. It is Sadia. And the script in the cry, you're feeling Mummy, man come back, I had the person I'm telling. Be another this time in 100% in 100 at an wapas. Say, script more than my new. And so one fast script now, my. Ya born about until I say baby report say no one find the script.
We have brought an application for judicial review in the nature of mandamus, certiorari, and also an injunction. Compel them to disclose the results to us. And also, of course, the injunction is because if they go ahead to conduct the next promotional exams, what it means is our client's case will be mute. That is why we also filed an application, or we have added an injunction application, of course. And then also, the certiorari, we believe that scripts like there are no records. And if there are no records, then the court should quash whatever results or Mudiaba said we failed. The court should quash it.
And the Coalition of Nation Builders Corps NAPCO trainees have joined calls by members of parliament and a section of Ghanaians for the removal of the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta. Well, the coalition in a statement claimed that the finance minister has been insensitive to the plight of NAPCO trainees. The coalition, among other things, also called on the president to pay their arrears to enable them to celebrate the Christmas festivities and plan their lives. And the minority in parliament has kicked against government's request for parliamentary approval of 3 loan agreements amounting to $500 million. Speaking to journalists after a finance committee meeting in parliament, a member of the committee, Thomas Yako Ampem, said the approval of the loan would only worsen the country's debt stock.
The government has brought loan agreements for us to approve, and 3 different loan agreements, one for $200 million and 2 each for $150 million. We have taken a very simple position that looking at our debt situation, we are unable to support further approvals for further loans, because we believe that if you are in a hole, you don't continue to dig further. We are waiting for the finance minister to give us a clear path to take out of this debt situation. We need to know our debt sustainability plans. Otherwise, we in the minority are clear that we are unable to support any additional borrowings by this government.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Communications and Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West constituency, Ursula Owusu Ekufo, has urged the minority in Parliament to reconsider their decision not to approve any further loans by government. According to her, the country may face a more difficult financial situation if these loans are disapproved.
This loan is also looking at the public sector, its connectivity and digital strengthening to enable it to deliver better services to the people, citizens, and foster a more secure environment for us all in terms of cybersecurity as well. So in my intervention before the committee, I indicated that yes, we're having economic challenges, but digital technology provides us with a ladder to climb out of the difficulties that we're currently facing. And so even though the minority has already taken a decision that they will not approve any loans, I urged upon them that they should look and take another look at their position and reconsider. Because if we don't take the right decisions today, our country will be in probably even more difficult circumstances tomorrow. And a right decision taken at the wrong time is a wrong decision. So timing is everything. They insist that they will not support any loan that is presented to the Finance Committee. But we're going to have further engagements with them. And I have no doubt that having heard, and they agree that the applications that are before them make sense.
African Open Parliament Index, a joint effort of the African Parliamentary Monitoring Organization's working group, has ranked Ghana's parliament the first among 13 other African parliaments in its report. With an overall score of 63.03%, Ghana's parliament led the Cape Verdean parliament, which scored 61.86%, taking the second position. Ghana's parliament also scored 27.71%, representing 35% in terms of transparency, 21.00 representing 35% in civic participation, and finally 14.32% representing 30% in public accountability, to be adjudged first in the Parliamentary Opinion Survey in West Africa. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has challenged heads of public and private institutions to explore and implement innovative ways to complement Ghana's job creation efforts across the country. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has challenged heads of public and private institutions to explore and implement innovative ways to implement government ways of job creation efforts across the country. Well, speaking at Goso in the Ahafo region on Wednesday, the 23rd of November 2022, Dr. Bawumia said the youths make up a large proportion of Ghana's population, and it's important that conscious efforts are made to meet their employment aspirations.
I declare in holy humility the integrated online learning program duly launched, and let it transform higher education in Ghana. It is a great delight to address this august audience on the theme, developing employable skills through integrated online learning.
Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that 1,215,546 children of school-going age in Ghana are not attending school. A substantial 942,427 of the 1.2 million children have never attended school. These findings emanate from the 2021 PHC thematic brief on childhood vulnerabilities in Ghana. The statistics were released as part of activities to commemorate World Children's Day, which is celebrated each year on the 20th of November to promote international togetherness, awareness among children worldwide, and improving children's welfare. The National Road Safety Authority has disclosed that 377 people were killed between January and October 2022 in the Ashanti region, while over 3,000 sustained various degrees of injuries within the same period. Well, the authority says available data shows that speeding and stationary vehicles continue to be among the major causes of road crashes in the country. A new analysis conducted by the Global Burden of Disease and Antimicrobial Resistance collaborators has revealed that Ghana recorded 88,649 infection-related deaths in 2019 alone. Well, according to the analysis, 49,066 deaths were caused by bacterial infections, including tuberculosis. 25,309 deaths were caused by a resistant bacterial infection, and 5,923 deaths were caused by a resistant bacterial infection. 24,564 children under the age of 5 died as a result of sepsis. Bloodstream infections were the most lethal infectious syndrome among children, accounting for 8,194 deaths. Now let's do some business stories where Ghana's cedi has declined by 53.8% in the value against major currencies since the beginning of 2022. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has stated, presenting the 2023 budget in Parliament on Thursday. Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta blamed the demand for foreign exchange as one of the reasons for the decline of the cedi. Mr. Ofori-Atta added that the Bank of Ghana will continue to monitor inflation development and respond appropriately to contain price pressures.
Mr. Speaker, the demand for foreign exchange to support our unbridled demand for imports undermines and weakens the value of the cedi. This contributed to the depreciation of the cedi, which has lost about 53.8% of its value since the beginning of this year, compared to the average 7% annual depreciation of the cedi between 2017 and 2021. The current year's depreciation, which is driving the high cost of goods and services for everyone, is clearly an aberration and a very expensive one indeed.
And the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana is calling for a reduction in the 1.5% electronic transfer levy rate to 0.1%, while the 1.5% levy, which was introduced in the 2022 budget, forms part of the government efforts at raising revenues locally. Speaking to the media, the General Secretary of the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana, Evans Otumfuo, expressed their displeasure of the association over the levy, which he said a reduction is critical to saving their businesses. Meanwhile, the e-levy has been reduced to 1.0 in the 2023 budget statement presented by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. An interest rate neared 36% on the money market, though fell short of the October 2022 inflation of 40.4%. This indicates that the return on investment remains negative. According to the results of the Treasury bills auction, the government, for the first time in 6 weeks running, recorded an oversubscription. This could signal some level of investor confidence as government negotiates a deal with the International Monetary Fund for a program. Again, liquidity has witnessed some improvement. And in sports, a 2-minute collapse in the second half by Ghana's Black Stars helped Portugal pick up a 3-2 win in their Group H clash, while Andrea Ayew 73rd minute goal cancelled out Cristiano Ronaldo's penalty and appeared to have given the Stars a new lease of life. The defeat would have been hard for Tuado's men, who stifled Portugal for much of the first half and the beginning of the second half.
All over the top for Portugal. Of a short corner with Fernandes. Guerreiro. With a touch from Partey. But spotted. Fernandes still waits in their pre-match talk as Pereira. But here come Ghana on that far side. There's only one man in the middle. It's towards. Ghana lose out. And a great chance here for Cristiano Ronaldo. Denied by Lawrence Atazigi. And the Portuguese coach now, Ronaldo. Little flick from João Felix. Ronaldo down in the area, penalty! Ghana surround the American official. It's Ronaldo, it's 1-0 Portugal. And it's a moment of World Cup history. Portugal in front. And Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first. Nicely done by Partey. Thomas. Chance for a shot from distance with Hats, and what a shot it. Couldn't get on the end of it, but Kudus does. Kudus to pull it back across. Ayew! Ghana are back level. Andre Ayew with the equaliser. Towards Ronaldo, Felix. Oh, he's played it through. Chance for Portugal. 2-1 Portugal. João Felix restores their lead. off. Once more, racing through on goal. It's that man again, but this time he can't find a way through. And eventually the flag is raised again. Fantino, here come Ghana. Great chance. Ayew! Oh, they've got a second. Jordan Ayew. Time is running out for Ghana, but there is still time.
Yeah, good opportunity for Portugal.
Now let's do some entertainment news where Caveman Watches has granted veteran actor Fred Amugi's wish to have his photo on a billboard before he passes on. Well, Anthony Zamefe, CEO of Caveman Watches, has featured a legend on one of his timeless billboards. The announcement was greeted with approval as Ghanaians poured in congratulations, sharing the good news. Caveman Watches is currently trending at #1 on all the news portals. Now let's do some international stories where a 5-residential story building collapsed on Monday in Row on the outskirts of the capital, Nairobi, barely a day after its tenants were evacuated. The evacuation was witnessed by the local governor, Kimani Wamatanga. On Sunday, after the building developed cracks, it had more than 100 tenants, according to local outlets. The National Construction Authority was earlier reported to have found it to be structurally unsound.
We want to make this appeal to the people of this county. Ya kwamba wakiona nyumba wameanza kulishuku. Kama vile hao wengine walishuku jana. Wasingojea mpaka liporomoke. Wacha waitane. Tunashukuru kama hii kwa sababu maafisa wa usalama walikuwa karibu, wengine walikuwa naishi hapo. So tulijua mapema na tukatoa watu mapema. So finally hatuko na maafa. Lakini watu wakiona kuna jambo baya linaendelea kwa nyumba lile jengo wanaishi na wanyamaze. Sasa tunakuja kuwa na maangamizi na watu kukufa.
And at least 7 people are dead after a gunman opened a fire at a Walmart supermarket in Chesapeake in the U.S. state of Virginia, officials say. A man believed to be the store manager opened the fire, then turned the gun on himself and is now dead. Multiple others were injured in the shooting. The attacker's motive remains unclear. Police told reporters that the attack happened at 22:12 local time.
At 10:12 p.m. Tuesday evening, we responded here to the Walmart on, Sam's Drive for a report of a shooting. We located multiple fatalities and multiple injured persons. We believe it's a single shooter, and that single shooter is deceased at this time.
And a teenage boy has been killed and 14 other people has been wounded in 2 suspected bomb attacks at the bus stops in Jerusalem. Israeli police says, well, the explosions happened at 2 busy areas on the outskirts of the city as people were heading to work. The boy who died was among 12 people who wounded by the first blast. 3 others were wounded by the second. This year has seen a spate of deadly gun and knife attacks targeting Israelis, triggering waves of Israeli military raids in Palestinian cities in the occupied West Bank.
This is a type of attack that we haven't seen for many years. 2 blasts in a row. We cannot determine whether it's one attacker or 2.
I say clearly, we need to back up our soldiers and our policemen, returning to targeted killings of Palestinian militants, ruling the state of Israel, deterring terrorism, and making terrorists pay.
And that will be all for this week's update on Weekly Reach. For more news updates, you can log on to our social media handles on Facebook and YouTube at Kasi TV. A very big thank you goes to my crew, Nat, Bright, Nana Kwame Adepa Monk, Nana Yawade, Jokash, Francis Gogo, Abigail, and to my executive producer, Elder Dominic Boachientri. And to you watch me as well. See you same time next week. As always, Max out, stay safe and stay positive. My name has been Salinana Ikuya Abuajo. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.